What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles featuring Hoopa in the Psychic Cup, which honestly I thought was going to be a unique showcase, at least early in the meta. I didn't think there would be loads of people showcasing it right off the bat, but apparently I was wrong. But this is still somewhat of a unique team with Alolan Raichu in the lead, running Thundershock as the fast move, with the intention to just go straight for Wild Charge and dip and either grab an early shield advantage or deal heavy damage. And then we've got Chimecho there as the safe swap with Hoopa in that closing position. Now the thing about Hoopa is that it does get Stab on Astonish, which is already a very attack weighted Pokemon, so it hits super hard, but it does also take double super effective damage from both Ghost and Dark type moves, so you do really have to be careful about how you use this Pokemon. By the way, you absolutely do not need to double move Hoopa unless you're basically fishing for a debuff with Psychic and you're certain that the opponent will shield. There is literally no reason to throw a Psychic in this meta, but I just felt like it would be hypocritical of me to make a fuss about people submitting battles with single move Pokemon for me to then just use a single move Pokemon myself. Anyways, I went very positive with this team getting multiple 5-0s, so with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What has been the most fun Pokemon to run for you in the Psychic Cup? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. So going into the first battle, lead Alolan Raichu into Galarian Slowbro. So they're going to be very fast to make it to the Brutal Swing, but we have the exact same pacing to a Wild Charge, so just going to full send it right off the bat, and Wild Charge does grab that shield advantage, and at this point I'm happy to let the Raichu go down. We've done exactly what we wanted here, grab that shield advantage. We can now come in with our Hoopa, and they will make it to another Brutal Swing, but that's absolutely okay. We can go for a full Astonish farm down there. So they go for the Brutal Swing, they then swap into Malamar, and this is still fine with us. I'm going to overfarm here, throwing just before they make it to a potential foul play. Shadow Ball is going to grab a shield from the Malamar, and they're going to fire off the charge move straight away. So going to shield this up here. They go for the foul play. I could just slightly overfarm, but instead going to fire off the Shadow Ball immediately here. The Shadow Ball will of course get the KO up against the Malamar. They come back in with the Slowbro, only to get fully farmed down, and then they come in with Alolan Raichu. Now I wasn't certain if I would live the Volt Switch damage there, so I actually swap into my Chimecho. The opponent would have to go for a Wild Charge to get rid of us. Since they go for Trailblaze there, we will outpace them to the side shock, so the opponent just concedes the match. So GG set up over there into next battle. Going to see Shadow Gardevoir in the lead, so going to stay in with my Raichu. I did actually slightly adapt my gameplay as these battles go on, but either way, going to fire off the Wild Charge here, then dip into my Chimecho. No point staying in and just allowing them to fire me down, and Chimecho is our safe swap here, so I'm going to swap into Chimecho. The opponent goes for a triple axle there, and then they swap into a Bite Bruxish. Now of course, Bite Bruxish is absolutely going to shred through the Hoopa in the back, so I need to deal as much damage as possible here, and we do get them fairly low, which is quite nice for me, but still I don't really want to take the bite damage, so we're actually going to come in with the Raichu, just get as much Thundershock damage as possible, and we put them into range where two Astonishes will get the KO, so that's okay. They go for Crunch there, and Crunch does not get the debuff, which is very nice for me as they come in with Galarian Rapidash, but they swap too soon there, and now we're able to come out with a Shadow Ball loaded, and a Shadow Ball will easily take out the Rapidash, and I'm able to take that game. So GG set up over there into next battle. We're going to see Alolan Raichu into a Bruxish. So we've seen this already, well not in this matchup here, but they're going to take a lot of damage with those bites. I'm only going to make it to one charge move, so it doesn't really matter what I throw. Either way they will be shielding, so I swap into my Chimecho here, just to avoid getting farmed down with my Raichu, as there's no reason to stay in. They're going to bait with the Psychic Fangs there, which does drop my defense, but it doesn't really matter too much there, as we do still get the farm down, and they come in with a Psycho Cut Malamar. So going to fire off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does connect for big damage. They will outpace me to the next charge move, but that's absolutely okay. They go for the foul play there. We're going to come in with my Alolan Raichu, just because I do have a slight energy advantage into whatever they swap into, and they come in with a Victini. So once again, full send in the Wild Charge, dealing huge damage here, and I'm going to swap, try to snipe with the Astonished, and we do get that snipe there, which is huge for me because now we basically waste all of their energy. They're only making it to one charge move on the Malamar, so going to shield this up. Astonish takes out the Malamar, and I'm able to take that game. So GG set up on their internet battle. You can see Alolan Raichu into Malamar. So we are going to stay in this matchup here. Since they're running Psywave, I can go for 6 Thunder Shocks and then throw a Wild Charge. And worst case scenario, they would throw on CMB, but we do connect with the Wild Charge. It does big damage. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go for a full Thunder Shock farm down there. So I'm actually going to swap, and the opponent swaps at the same time into their own Astonish user. But unfortunately for me, they do win CMP here. They can go for a Dark Pulse, which does get the KO there. So not ideal. We are down a shield, and as well, if I come in with my Hoopa, you're going to see Astonishers would absolutely chunked, so I'm forced to come back in with the Raichu, gonna fire off the Trailblaze. Trailblaze gets the KO there. They come in with their own Hoopa. We don't quite make it to the charge move, and look at the damage there from those Astonishes. 3 Astonishes takes us out there. We get a simultaneous KO, but unfortunately the opponent still had, I think it was Malamar in the lead, so we do end up losing that game. But GG's to the opponent there. Into next battle, gonna see Claydol in the lead, so definitely the worst thing Raichu can see. The opponent's actually just gonna go straight for a Scorching Sands, no problem with me. Just gonna no shield that, and now gonna fire off a Shadow Ball, and Shadow Ball is going to grab a shield up against the Galarian Slowbro. Now this is very awkward as they do get quite a big farm down there. We're going to come back in with our Raichu, basically just fully sacrifice it here. The opponent will throw just before we make it to a charge move, and the opponent's going to go for the Brutal Swing. I figured they'd probably go for a full farm down, but accidentally I swapped there and they do throw straight away, so that was a huge mistake there. I thought maybe I'd at least get a full Astonish in as I swapped, but unfortunately this is going to be game over. We're going to throw the Shadow Ball anyways. Hopefully they no shield this. They do shield. There's nothing we can do here, so at this point I'm just going to no shield this, and the opponent gonna go for a Hyper Beam, which I did not understand whatsoever. I'm not sure if they're BMing or if they genuinely didn't realize that we're also part Ghost, but either way we're gonna capitalize as now we can go for the full farm down. The opponent is going to be able to come back in with the Slowbro there, so we're gonna swap into our Raichu, get the snipe with the Wild Charge. Wild Charge gets the KO, and we did bank a Shadow Ball there, so when they come back in we can go for it straight away up against the Claydol, and Claydol is bulky, but a Shadow Ball still gets the one shot, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there. I do think that was just a failed attempt at a BM, expecting to grab a shield there, but that's why you don't do that when there's still a shield in play, because the smart play on my end is just a no shield, because there's no way I win that if they go for foul play, so I might as well just make the game a bit sooner. But yeah, very strange game. Either way, gonna swap into Chimecho here. They go for a foul play, and we've already grabbed a shield advantage, which is quite nice for us. I do believe they did overfarm quite a fair bit, but either way, going to come back in with my Raichu. I'm still able to make it to a Wild Charge, which is very nice. Wild Charge will be coming through. Wild Charge does big damage there. We swap, we get the snipe up against the Hoopa. They've got a Charm Gardevoir in the back. Big damage all round, and we actually put them into range where 2 Thunder Shocks gets the KO up against the Gardevoir, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there into next battle. You can see Claydol in the lead once again. So once again, not ideal. Gonna say swap into my Chimecho, and we're met with Galarian Rapidash. So honestly, this isn't that bad, especially since they just go straight for a Body Slam here. So definitely fine with me. We're now gonna fire off a Side Shock Bait, which is very unnecessary there. Could have just gone for the Shadow Ball, but I wanted to try and throw it on good timing there. But either way, I will still maintain alignment as they go for a Body Slam. They're actually not gonna make it to a Mega Horn there. So now we have flip switch advantage. They come back in with the Claydol. We can now come in with our Hoopa, and I can go for a full Astonish farm down, but I think they probably will make it to back-to-back Scorching Sands. So I'm going to shield the first move, so they go for the Scorching Sands there, and then they swap into Galarian Slowbro. So I'm going to fire off the Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball almost definitely going to grab a shield there, so maybe that was an opportunity for me to go for a Psychic, but either way, going to stay in with my Hoopa, and then I make a pretty significant mistake here, as we're going to swap into our Raichu. Honestly, I could probably just go straight for an Astonish farm down up against the Slowbro, but instead we swap into Raichu, and I thought that would get the KO, so unfortunately they can just go for a full Poison Jab farm down now. I should have just gone for Wild Charge there, dropped my defense there, meaning that one Astonish, well actually they just wouldn't have made it to another charge move here, but unfortunately Brutal Swing gets the KO, and unfortunately we do lose that game. So if I went for Wild Charge there, I could have actually just allowed them to farm me down faster, then got the Astonish farm down up against the Slowbro and maybe made it to a Shadow Ball, but either way, GG's to the opponent into next battle. Gonna see a mirror match, but they are running Volt Switch, so I think this is the only match where I went for Trailblaze here. They go for a Psychic, which also doesn't make sense. They're gonna swap into their own Hoopa, maybe it's a mirror team. Either way, Wild Charge gets the one shot. They don't respect the damage. I don't really understand that whatsoever, but now we can just come in with the Chimecho. These bites are chunking, but honestly Astonish is dealing more damage. I can just go for a Side Shock at this point, doesn't really matter. Honestly, I don't really need to throw a charge move whatsoever, but I might as well throw there, grab a shield. We can go for a full Astonish farm down, even if they do debuff my defense there. We get that farm down, and now we can just swap into Hoopa, go for the Astonish farm down up against the Raichu, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there into next battle, Raichu into Galarian Rapidash. So once again, just going to stay in this matchup, fire off the Wild Charge straight away, and then I will swap into my Chimecho. So Wild Charge will be coming through, it grabs the shield there, we can now swap into Chimecho, and they have overfarmed quite a lot, so I will respect the damage. The opponent full sends the Mega Horn there, and at this point I think they're only going to make it to a body slam, so I will be no shielding. The opponent does just commit to the body slam there, which is fine with us. We can no shield that, and they're going to come in with their own Chime Echo, so this is still a little bit tricky for us, as of course we've got Hoopa in the back. We don't want to see the Astonish damage, but we do at least make it to a Side Shock, and this is kind of nice. This will put them into range where we can probably Astonish farm them down, but I'm going to come in with my Hoopa. Actually, I come in with the Hoopa here just because I figured they will throw a charge move, meaning we're only going to take one Astonish there. They come in with their own Hoopa, and we've seen this already. We can't tank the fast moves whatsoever, so we swap out into Raichu. We make it to the Wild Charge. Wild Charge gets the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there. The opponent had a pretty similar strategy with the Rapidash in the lead and then just having the double Astonish users in the back. And then into the next battle, we can see another Rapidash in the lead. This time they're going straight for body slam, so I'm going to no shield this. I'll then fire off the Wild Charge straight away, and then I will swap into my Chime Echo. So Wild Charge grabs the shield there, we swap into Chime Echo, and the opponent comes in with a Malamar. Now, I just barely get outpaced to the first charge move, so we'll definitely shield this just because I need to grab a shield back from the opponent, or of course, just take out the Malamar. That would also be great. We're going to fire off the Shadow Ball here just before they make it to the next charge move. They're going to shield that, and they will throw straight away, so that's okay with me. The opponent will go for the foul play. Foul play gets the KO there. We can come in with the Raichu, and I will outpace them to the charge move, and I do make it to the Wild Charge in time. So Wild Charge will be enough damage to get the KO up against the Malamar. We're going to swap straight away into my Hoopa here. Doesn't matter what they come in with. They come in with a Victini, and they are running quick attack, so of course that's going to be double resisted. I can shield this up here as the opponent goes for a V-Create there, and all I have to do is throw the Shadow Ball, but I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't throw a charge move. The opponent already at the Mega Horn gets the KO, and I've completely thrown this game away here. I don't know what I was thinking there. Of course, since they just went for V-Create, the Astonish that we got through would have put them into range where that Victini was easily in range to Astonish farm them down, but a huge mistake there. I just got greedy with the energy, and we end up losing that. So GG's to that opponent, very well played. Into the next battle, another Rapidash in the lead. They're going to throw it off to 5 this time around, and they go for their own Wild Charge, which is a very interesting play here. Of course, Wild Charge is resisted. We go for our Wild Charge, we swap into our Chime Echo, and the opponent comes in with Claydol. So at this point, they clearly don't have a great response to Astonish, so we're looking pretty good. We're going to fire off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does big damage. It doesn't quite take them out there, but it doesn't matter. This is just going to be a Scorching Sands. They weren't at the Shadow Ball, so we let that go through. They do drop my attack, which is not ideal, but they come in with a Shadow Gardevoir, and this game is absolutely over. We can come in with the Hoopa, go for the Astonish farm down. We get the farm down there, and the opponent just concedes the match. So GG to opponent there. Into next battle, you can see Raichu into Gardevoir. So this might be one of the battles where I switched up my idea. No, never mind. We're still just going to go for that Wild Charge straight away. Well, I say straight away after 7. Thunder Shock's there to throw it on good timing. Then swap into my Chime Echo. And the opponent will make it to a charge move once again, but that's absolutely okay. They go for Triple Axel, and they will actually stay in with the Gardevoir, get off 1 boosted charm. Doesn't really matter too much. And again, they come in with a Psycho Cut Malamar. So this is fine with me. Gonna fire off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is going to grab the final shield there, but they do massively overfarm. So this is not ideal. I'm gonna no shield this as they go for the foul play. But at this point, I'm actually going to come in with my Raichu here just because they won't be able to farm me down. No, never mind. What am I talking about? We're going to come in with the Hoopa here, and they will still outpace me 2 back-to-back charge moves. So now I'm going to swap into my Raichu, and we fire off the Wild Charge. The opponent catches onto Bruxish, so I need to undercharge this, and even a nice Wild Charge takes out the Bruxish. That is so painful because now, unfortunately, they're easily outpacing me to a charge move, and foul play, double super effective, takes out the Hoopa, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But I basically need to hit no bubbles on that Wild Charge, and they get 2 Astonishes to farm down that Bruxish to win that game, and unfortunately I didn't do that. But either way, into the next battle, we're going to see a Bronzong in the lead, firing off the Wild Charge, it connects, we then swap into Chime Echo, and once again, if they're coming with Claydol, then they don't have a great response to an Astonish user, which means hopefully Hoopa can do well in the back, but of course it does mean that maybe they're running their own Hoopa. But either way, I'm going to no shield, as again, they just go for Scorching Sands, absolutely fine with me. Unfortunately, we don't quite make it to a Shadow Ball, but either way, Side Shock's still going to do some okay-ish damage. It will put them into farm down range for my Hoopa, and they are 2 away, so I'm hoping 2 Astonishes will get the KO, and it does just barely get the KO there. They come in with a Metal Claw Metang, which did get a buff this season, but unfortunately Metal Claw still not a great fast move, so we can just safely shield up the Side Shock. They've got a charge move on their Bronzong, but it doesn't matter. They try to go for a snipe there, it doesn't work out, and they just concede the match. So GG's to opponent there, into the next battle, we can see Raichu into Bruxish. So once again, just going to stay in, go straight for a Trailblaze there. It doesn't really matter what we throw, but I might as well go for Trailblaze in case they do no shield, because that way I'll boost up my attack instead of debuffing my defense. We're going to swap out, since they do shield, of course, they're going to shield. And again, I think they are just going to go and stay in, go for a Psychic Fangs, drop my defense, but that's okay. We do get the Astonish farm down, and we come out with a Shadow Ball loaded, which is very nice. They're going to come in with a Claydol once again. Unfortunately, though, they have put me into range where they can Mudslap farm me down. We fire off the Shadow Ball there, and we're not going to make it to another charge move. So at this point, we are going to come in, I believe, with the Hoopa here, but the opponent swaps into Galarian Slowbro, and that is absolutely perfect for me. We can just commit one shield, go for a full Astonish farm down here. They're not going to make it to back-to-back charge moves, and now we can just fire off the Shadow Ball straight away into Claydol coming back in. And of course, Shadow Ball will get the one-shot up against Claydol, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there, into the next battle. You can see Alolan Raichu into a Bronzong once again, and this time they're actually running Metal Sound, which I did actually think about just because there's been so many Galarian Rapidash. I think Metal Sound, it kind of just doesn't really help that much. Of course, going to hit for super effective damage up against those fairy types, but Metal Sound does very little damage. It doesn't even generate energy as fast as, say, Thundershock or Fairy Wind, so it's really not a great fast move. We can go for the Trailblaze at this point, and they're going to come in with Hoopa. We do just barely make it to the Wild Charge here, and Wild Charge is going to grab a shield this time around. We come in with our own Astonish user. We get them fairly low there already with just 2 Astonishes. And we're going to go straight for the Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball is going to grab a shield from the Malamar, the final shield as well. So at this point, we're looking pretty good. Foul Play gets the KO. All I have to do here is take out the Malamar, and I should be perfectly fine. I think the Hoopa is at 4 Astonishes, so it does take 6 Astonishes to make it to a Shadow Ball. So all I have to do, throw the charge move here. They're not going to make it to a Shadow Ball, and we do have enough HP to win this game. But unfortunately, I make a huge mistake there. I don't know why. I thought they were already at 5. So, of course, one more Astonish should get them to the Shadow Ball if they were at where I thought they were at. So I swap. I tried to make a catch, but actually, we basically just give them the energy for the Shadow Ball, in which case they can then just nuke me with the Hoopa up against my own Hoopa. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, we're going to go for the Wild Charge up against the Malamar. And since they shield, and because they do overfarm quite significantly, I actually kind of have to shield my Raichu. We now overfarm by 1 Thundershock here. Go for the Wild Charge once again. And Wild Charge is going to be no shielded. So at this point, I will let the Raichu go down. And at this point, I'm thinking 1 Astonish from Hoopa probably will get the KO. So instead, going to come in with my Chime Echo, hopefully get more energy, and we do get more energy. So we get 2 Astonishes in, but they come in with their own Chime Echo. So once again, not going to bait, going to full send the Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball is going to grab the final shield there, so possibly could have baited. And you're going to see I will actually make it to a charge move anyways. The opponent makes a catch there onto a Galarian Rapidash, but that's actually perfect for me, because now we can come in with the Hoopa, and unless they're running Wild Charge, this will just be a Body Slam, and Body Slam, double resisted, we don't need to shield that, and of course, I can just shield this up. The Astonish damage from my Hoopa will be enough damage to take out the Chime Echo, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there into possibly the final battle of this video. We do lead into a Shadow Gardevoir, so this is probably what I was talking about. I'm actually just going to build up to a Wild Charge and then swap out and bank the energy. So instead of throwing the energy straight away, we're going to swap out there. They come in with a Feint Attack Bronzong, and honestly, even the Feint Attacks, they don't really deal that much damage either, so maybe Metal Sand isn't as bad as I was making it out to be. But either way, going to shield this, and they did shield the first move. I don't think they're going to double shield, so I have to commit to the Shadow Ball here, and Shadow Ball, of course, will be enough damage to get the KO, and the opponent does let that go through. So we flip social advantage, they come in with a Claydol, and we should be fine here. We're going to come in with the Hoopa, the opponent will be throwing a charge move, and I'm of course going to have to shield this. They go for Scorching Sands here, and because they debuff my attack, I won't be able to get the full farm down, so instead we swap into our Raichu, we go for the snipe with the Trailblaze. Trailblaze gets the KO, they come back in with the Gardevoir, and we do make it to 1 final Wild Charge before we go down. I believe Gardevoir does have a charge move loaded, but Hoopa comes in, wins CMP, and of course Shadow Ball, super effective damage, easily takes out the Gardevoir, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.